Hello, everyone. Today, you are here listening to a mental health podcast by these lovely people and me. So, I am Sinead. This is Katie.
Boo!
This is Gabriel.
That's me.
And this is Rayanne.
Hello.
So, you might be wondering, what is mental health? Well, mental health is kind of like physical health, but it's all about your brain. It is about your emotional well-being, your social well-being, and just your mental well-being in general. You might be wondering, why is this so important? Why do I need to know about this? Well, let me tell you why. Because it's something everyone has. It's something that affects your decisions, your thinking, your emotions, and the way that you act. It's something that can affect you negatively, or it can something that can affect you positively, and you need to learn how to cope with all the different emotions and keep your mental health just as healthy as your physical health. So guys, what can negatively affect our mental health? What do you guys think?
Schoolwork is a big one at
Yes.
the moment. So I think the two big ones at the moment is school and lockdown. Those are the two. Obviously, there's a lot, but those are probably the two big ones for the majority of people at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we're all struggling with. Like, we're having to readapt how we approach things and how we look after ourselves
Hmm.
with these new issues we're having to overcome.
What stresses does school bring to us, and how can we combat them? So first of all, what stresses do schools bring? You know, what things do schools do that affect us negatively in terms, mentally?
It gives us,
Workload.
yeah,
Hmm.
deadlines.
That
So some things that school could maybe do, well, definitely do that can be considered stressful are exams, assignments, homework, deadlines, getting to school, and then two very big ones: people and expectation. So to basically summarize, a lot of people, well, pretty much everyone who's attended school, which is a lot of people, have been stressed out about any of the things that I just listed or anything else. So, what can people do to resolve them? So, what are some things that people can do um, to deal with exams and homework and deadlines? What's something that they can do that can make themselves feel better? What can they do?
I mean, it's very different how we're going to have to tackle this in current situations than we would maybe in like normal circumstances when we'd have like an end exam and we'd have like we'd be able to go into school and actually complete work on time. But now we're just gonna have to. I think. I think it should be a priority to take care of ourselves first
Hmm.
and work in small amounts and like
Yeah,
take regular breaks. I think is something we can do to try and deal with the workload that we've been given.
yeah. So I think when people, obviously, when we're in lockdown at the moment in Scotland, but if anyone hears this in any other country and you're not in lockdown, you're lucky. But everyone in Scotland's currently in lockdown, so we're all doing work from home, whether that be college work, school work, or even uni work, right? So I personally think I agree with you, Casey. I think breaks are vital. And I know they don't work for everyone, but I personally believe that everyone should have at least one break when you start working, because you just need to take some time out from doing your work, take a step back and go, right, you need to calm down, you need to get back on track if you've lost focus, whatever. And breathing is also very important as well. So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying, yeah. I think also another way to kind of combat with school stuff when it gets stressful, especially during this time, because we're not in school, we don't have the amount of support we would maybe usually have, I think is
Hmm.
just to email your teachers and explain to them the situation. We're all
Yeah.
experiencing similar things at the moment. So teachers are more understanding of everyone's situation. We're now at home, we all have different living situations. There might be more important things than our work, and you have to tell your teachers that, because they can't read your minds if you're not talking to them, if you're not creating a line of communication. How are they supposed to help you and help you relieve that stress
Yeah,
that you have
exactly.
mentally weighing on you?
I
And
think
even if you don't, sorry, just one quick thing, even if you don't want to talk to a teacher, there's like pastoral care helpers and other people like that that could help.
hmm I think the only problem with emailing teachers is because it's probably quite daunting for some people. Maybe some people with quite bad anxiety or quite bad, then maybe not good in social situations. Even though it's, you're emailing a teacher, maybe that can be quite like a struggle for some people. So I think maybe something to combat that is when you sit down, and so let's say you're struggling with your mental health and you need some time away from your schoolwork, whether that be for whatever how long. I think it's good to have a family member next to you so they can help you write the email, and that they're basically providing moral support, because it always feels better when you're doing something with someone else. Well, I personally feel that as well, like with schoolwork and whatever.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to motivate people to do things too.
Yeah.
Because if you have someone there, then you're more likely to do something than if you're
hmm
left to your own, I think.
exactly. I think the two next ones that I've got are the two big ones. So it's well, it's people and it's expectations. So I think I think people I'm just gonna skim through. So, you know, me personally, I've always struggled with people, whether it be because I've been friends with people and it hasn't worked out, or I don't, it's there's a lot of things to it, and I've always personally struggled to quite understand people as a whole, like kind of what they, well, not exactly how they're thinking, but just the actions that some people do that they think it's okay. But I'm not going to get into that too much. But I think something that I probably should have done when I was younger, when I was struggling with a lot of this stuff, and probably still to this day, is talk to my parents about what was going on, because your parents probably know what you are going through because they've probably been through something similar. And I think it's vital, as I think Sinead, you said yesterday. It's it's it. I think, well, actually, Sinead, both you and Casey said this. It's perspective. It matters. You might be thinking one thing, but your parents or another person who's come in to help you is thinking a completely different thing.
Yeah. I mean, support groups, especially right now, is so important, like, even more than ever, because we can't do all this alone. And
Oh yeah, exactly.
I mean, we need people to help give us perspectives on our situations, because, like, we can only see one side of it normally.
Yeah.
Once we're in our fight or flight situation of only being able to see one narrow path, we need other people to help us break past that wall and help us
hmm
see the bigger picture.
Exactly. Um.
I just wanted to add on
Go
to
on.
something there. If you maybe don't have like parents, or maybe you don't have a good relationship with your parents and you don't feel like you can go up and talk to them, there is helplines for people out there. It doesn't mean if you go into this helpline that there's sometimes a stigma that means that you're really got really bad mental health, that it's only for weirdos that do this. I've heard things like that thrown out before,
hmm
which is ridiculous. It is support out there for young people that need someone to talk to that they might not have at home, and it's always a good thing to go and call someone if you're stuck, whether it be a friend, maybe a family member, a teacher, or these helplines like the Samaritans.
I actually have
There's
the number.
many things out there to talk to.
hmm
I wrote this down is in my notes. I wrote down that the Samaritan's hotline number should be 116123, but I'll change that if I find out that it's wrong. So, yeah, if you need a hotline, then it's 116123 for the Samaritans.
Perfect. I think concluding school, Obviously that's a tough act to follow, but expectation. So it's a very complicated topic when it comes to, well, mental health, when it comes to school life in general. I personally think that we've grown up in a time where expectations for us are at an all-time high for things like grades, clothing, personality, and a lot more. So, and it's the issue that we as young people can't live our lives the way that we want to. We have to live the lives of, like, other people, for example. Like, we have to follow, you know, basically we just have to structure our lives to be like the perfect, person in like a movie or whatever. And I personally believe that's a bunch of horse maloney. I strongly urge every single person listening to this, including you guys, to live your life and do what you want. So you need to believe in yourself and who you are. Sorry, who you are and what you are. And I know a lot of people struggle with that. Me personally, I've struggled with that for a long time. But I think being in lockdown has given me a lot of time to think. Speaking to close friends of mine who have helped me, um, it's it was a combination of both. And I think when you're stuck inside for months and months on end and you've got really nothing to do, you start to get into your own thoughts, which, I mean, I do a lot. I don't know about you guys, but I do it a lot. So you kind of think about these things and you go, you know, you know, I'm just going to do my own thing. And that's what I strongly urge everyone to do. You need to tell yourself that you're the answer and you're not just some overweight question. And the only person that can change like who you are is yourself. So on that note, be proud of yourself, who you are as a person and just how far you've come in life, because it doesn't matter whether or not if you're struggling with your mental health right now really badly, just know that it gets better. Reach out to, what was it, Katie? Is the hotline number 116123?
Yes.
So if people, if you're struggling with your mental health, reach out to them by all means. And if you don't feel comfortable with talking to a stranger like myself, because I've always struggled with that, and talk to a close friend of yours, or talk to a family member if you can. Even talk to a teacher at your school if you trust them that much. I think expectation is a very complicated thing, so I'd like to hear your opinions on it.
I mean, yeah, I think if you're not doing it for yourself, then who are you doing it for?
Mm-hmm.
Because,
Exactly.
like, this is the life that you're gonna have to live with. You're gonna have to, you have to find a way to live with your own peace, I think. Because,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even we can make. I think from a young age, we've all been told that we should live in a linear lifestyle of, going to school, getting the grades, getting to university, getting the dream job, getting the dream house, getting like the dream partner, and having like, a bunch of kids, and that's supposed to be the dream life. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not a one size fits all situation,
Yeah.
because I think it's important that we make our own expectations for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't listen sometimes. Uh, sometimes we need to make our own decisions.
Yeah. Well, I think well, when you're younger, when you're like 8, 9, 10, you don't really need to worry about making really, difficult decisions as of yet. But see, when you're our age, 15, 16, 17, you got to start taking things on your own, because at the end of the day, the only person that's there for you all the time is yourself. So you've got to look after yourself. And that kind of slides me on to just being open and talking about your problems. And I know that it's extremely difficult for a lot of people to open up to people, because obviously, when you open up to people, you're basically, that's you clearly trust this person with the information that you're giving them. And I know it can be very difficult, because a lot of people have probably experienced things like, they've opened up to someone and that person has gone behind their back and, told people about their problems. So I can understand maybe why people may not want to talk to other people about their problems, but something that's helped me exponentially over the years is talking to myself. And it might sound weird. It might, I remember when I would walk in it when I was still living in Australia, in year 5 and year 6 especially. I would be walking to and from school every day, and it was about a 25-30 minute walk. And I didn't have a phone at this point, so I couldn't listen to music. So it was basically just me and my thoughts. So I would talk to myself. I would keep myself company, and people walking past me, people in cars driving past, people in their houses looked at me as if I'm some weirdo. But I personally don't see anything wrong with it. What do you guys think?
I think that's interesting. I don't know. I've never tried that, but
I talk to myself all the time.
think
And it does
So do I.
sound weird when you say it out loud, like you talk to yourself, like what do you talk to yourself about? But it's
Yeah.
just like reminding yourself of things and memories, and it doesn't mean that you're weird in any way. I think a lot of people talk to themselves without realizing it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just weird. I think the weirdness appears when people begin to acknowledge that they're talking to themselves. I think
Yeah.
when you don't see other people maybe do it when they're around you or whatever, it can feel weird, but it's a normal thing that people do, and it doesn't make you weird in any sense, and it can help you just like talking to yourself.
Yeah.
So
I
Sort
mean,
of reassure yourself on things.
exactly.
yeah,
I mean, they do
Exactly.
say like if you tell yourself like positive things, then you'll start to believe them.
Exactly.
yeah, you're like manifesting that belief.
hmm So, I just think that I just think that if people like myself really do quite struggle to open up to people. I mean, I do it sometimes, but it's quite difficult for me, and it's probably quite difficult for you guys as well. Just kind of sitting someone down and going, right, here's my situation. So I think when you talk to yourself, it's it's such a good way to just get a grip of things and understand what's going on. Because if you've got, let's say you've got a problem with let's say you've got a problem with someone at school, like a friend at school, and there's a bad situation going on. If you talk to yourself and you just kind of rant, basically, let all your feelings out, not only will it will feel phenomenal because you've just gotten it all out. Not only do you not need to worry about anyone hearing or anyone telling people. It's just you in a room in a comfortable space, and you've just let out all these emotions and all these feelings. So you just feel a lot better. And then when you're talking to yourself, you can maybe try and put together what you can do, you know. Or if you let out all your emotions, even if you can't figure out how to tackle your problem, that's not a bad thing, because there's always a positive in talking to yourself that you're letting all your emotions out. You know, you're just you're opening the door and you're just going, right, here's my story, basically. You know them cringe movies of, yes, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got in this situation. Here's my story. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
But I think just to top it all off, because I know I've talked a lot. I'm just going to read this paragraph straight from my notes. So, when you're feeling down and you feel as if you can't talk to another person for whatever reason, talk to the person who knows you best, which is yourself. Just start by talking aloud to yourself in a comfortable space and let all your feelings and emotions out. Just don't hold back, let them all out. If you need to cry, feel free, cry. Because I remember when I was younger, I used to say, "Oh no, don't cry. No, 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 that'll make you feel worse." I mean, crying makes you feel better because you're just letting it all out. You know,
It's healthy.
yeah, it's healthy. You know, if you need to cry because if you start talking to yourself and you get caught up in your emotions and you feel like you need to cry, go for it, cry. Because at the end of the day, that's letting out all your emotions as well. And once you're done, you just feel a lot better. And me personally, I feel really tired after I cry, and I fall asleep every time I've had a. I remember in Australia when I was really young, I cried for 3 hours straight, and I conked out right afterwards. But anyway,
Honestly, that's like God tier though, because you know you're gonna get a good sleep that night.
Honestly, yeah, I think the best night's sleeps I've ever had in my life is after a very long cry session. I'll be honest. I'll be honest.
I can't relate. I can't even lie.
Oh man. But it's yeah, it's better to let it all out than to keep it bottled inside. Because me personally, I've well, when I was young, up until I think my last year living in Australia, I didn't really bother about my emotions, to be brutally honest, because it's like I don't really have anything to worry about, you know. I had some problems in primary school, but they weren't like, you know, they didn't really affect me. But as I got older, they started to affect me a lot more, and I kept a lot of my emotions bottled inside, and that's probably where my seriously bad overthinking habit came in. But I think a good thing about sorry to go off track, but I think a good thing about lockdown is everyone has time to improve their mental health. You know,
Yeah.
everyone doesn't. You know, that you think about stuff and you just go, right, is this stuff worth worrying about? No, get out of my brain. You know, but to round
Yeah.
it all off, even if you don't accumulate an answer for yourself, that's okay. You've let your emotions out, and you always feel better after doing so. Well, hopefully you do. So, last sentence: talking to yourself is by no means weird. It's extremely beneficial. So, Katie, and to anyone else who hasn't talked to themselves, give it a go.
I like that.
Different.
Exams are cancelled. We're nearly finished school, and we've been doing applications. How are you guys doing with all this?
Um, I think I think in regards to applications, it's quite. I remember when I think in mid-January when college applications started kicking off. We have to wake up at 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. whenever it was, and everyone was applying for college. That was stressful. But I think for me, once I applied, it was okay. I don't know about you guys,
I
but
mean, yeah.
obviously the interview process and just the anticipation whether or not you're going to get an offer, that's the nerve-wracking part.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, right, we've been in lockdown since like December time, and
Yeah,
that's like when we're supposed to be applying for all these things. So we've been kind of all hands on deck
it's being
doing it
put off.
solo. Yeah. And I think, honestly, I think we should be really proud of ourselves for managing to do this.
Oh,
Because we've been
definitely.
meeting all these deadlines, applying for college, applying for university. We're trying to, while trying to maintain our subjects we've got currently, we've got assignments, we've got all these things trying to get our predicted grades up, and we're in the middle of a pandemic. It's crazy. It's craziness. And I think
Exactly.
that we should be really proud of ourselves for managing, because, I mean, normally we'd have support when we're in school to deal with all these things with like pastoral care, the careers advisors. I mean, we've been going to
Hmm.
PSC, we've been having help with personal statements, but like since then we've been doing it by ourselves.
Yeah. And
And
I think, when like Mr. Neil, for example, says to us, I'm very proud of, all of you guys as a year group, you're working, very well. I assume a lot of people just go, yeah, yeah, okay, whatever. But
yeah,
I think we should, like, I genuinely, I mean, me personally, I've always appreciated any kind words from any of the teachers. That might seem weird or whatever, but you're getting complimented. So the least you can do is feel appreciated. But I think when Mr. Neil and other teachers say you guys are working very, 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 very well during this time, especially, and I'm proud of you all, I think everyone should just go, yeah, do you know what? I've done a lot, man. I'm doing well, because this is the most difficult time of any. This is the most difficult time of our schooling life, and it's made 10 times more difficult because of the situation we're in. So I think everyone just needs to sit back and go, God, I'm good. You know?
yeah. I mean, like, it's crazy to think about, and I think a lot of people underestimate the work they do, because, I mean, even if, you're falling behind on something, at least you're doing something, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. It's people need to sit back and just go, I'm proud of me. I'm proud of me.
And I think more than ever, it's super, super important to have plans for after this pandemic because, one day our lives will go back to normal and we will have things that we are going to want to do. And I think it's hard to see that right now because, we're in the middle of it. We're still stuck in this pandemic. We have the vaccinations and stuff, and that's coming out soon. But I think more than ever, it's important to have plans and
Yeah,
have things that gets you excited and gives
because I
you
think
hope.
for me, it's I'm looking forward to summer, and just the fact that I know that England have announced that on June 21st they are ending all of lockdown rules, and that's another story entirely. But if Scotland do something similar, that would be fantastic because you know we if we can get out for summer and enjoy ourselves, not only do we deserve it, especially everyone in our age group, all of us, our year group, we can go out and have fun. You know, I have plans to meet up with my mates and just go for walks, go exploring. I've even had plans that I maybe want to go to a music festival in England, but that's far fetched. I just want to enjoy myself. The point is, I want to enjoy myself because at the end of the day, we deserve it.
Yeah, and we deserve to have the hope to do that because I
Yeah,
think we need
one
that
hundred percent.
to keep going on right now. We need something to hold on to.
Yeah, we need something to, as you said, we need something to look forward to because it keeps people's hopes up.
Yeah. So much because I don't know. We'll have around 3 months off if we're going to uni,
hmm
whereas our
Uh,
year group in particular.
I think it's 3 months for uni and then like at least a month and a half for college.
Like that's
I
that.
think
As long as we can get out this pandemic now, then like we'll be sorted.
exactly as long as by summer we can go outside, I'm happy. Because yes, even though like last summer we could get out, it just didn't feel the same. It just didn't feel right. Whereas now we're a year on. You look at New Zealand; they've gone completely back to normal. They've been back to normal for months. The UK and the rest of the world needs to do that, and as soon as that happens, we can go back to a pretty much a normal life again. Hopefully, because
Yeah,
we will go back to a normal life sometime in our lifetime. But it'd be good to have that within the next few years.
exactly. Okay, on another point on talking about getting excited about seeing people, I think it's pretty easy to say that a lot of people in currently are probably finding it hard to stay in contact with their friends in this pandemic
hmm
because we can't see each other and
Yeah.
we've got schoolwork, we've got uni applications, we've got this that. It's just everything is moving very quickly, and I think a lot of people are missing each other. I mean,
Yeah.
how have you guys been managing to keep in contact much with your friends?
Nope.
I'll let someone else speak because I've spoken a lot.
The thing is with me, I don't know, right? When I'm at school and I'm with my friends, like it doesn't feel like it's an obligation to go and say hi. Like they're your friends, you love seeing them, they give you a great laugh. But I think for me, while being at home so much and not really getting to see any other people except from like my family, I don't know, I've been a lot more distant from my friends, haven't really talked to them in weeks, and I don't know, I feel like just because you're not getting to see them kind of every day, it kind of that connection of like keeping in touch starts to get thinner and thinner. And I think in some senses it's okay because you do need a break from your friends and stuff, but at the same time you need to keep those connections going, not just to have like lasting friendships, but to kind of teach yourself that having friends is work. You have to put in the time or you won't have friends. Like you don't just meet someone and you become instantly friends and that's it. You never talk to them again and they're still going to be
Yeah.
your friends 5 years down the line. You have to talk to them, hang out, and there is like work involved in like a friendship or a relationship. any type.
I mean, it's a two-way system.
I think
We
it
need to
is.
both have the effort
Yeah,
to be able to stay in contact as well,
yeah,
because I mean, it is much harder because like there's not much we can do really. I mean, and I think that isolates a lot of people too. The fact that it's much harder to stay in contact with their friends. I think that makes people really lonely. And
Hmm.
I mean, like you said, only getting to talk to your family members, I like that can be that probably is frustrating for a lot of people too. Like having to having your family members be the only people you get to see when you want to see like your friends, your teachers, your like you want to get out to all these places.
Hmm.
It's probably really frustrating, but I mean, there's still things we can do with people. I mean, we can play video games and movies and stuff. I think it's important to make sure we're keeping in contact with the people we really care about because, I mean, once this pandemic is over, we're gonna wanna have plans with these people.
yeah,
And I
Yeah.
just wanna
Yeah.
re-emphasize that if you're feeling down or lonely or feeling like you're completely isolated, call the Samaritans at 116123 because there will be someone there to help you.
Do you know what? This is a little plug. If anyone feels like they need to talk to anyone, feel free to text me on Instagram, Gabriel Calderwood6. If you need someone to talk to, feel free to send me a text and I'll talk to you. There you go.
There we have it.
Right, yeah, I was just gonna say, like, yeah, it would be harder to talk to friends, especially what with, working from home, like, doing your schoolwork, managing your time wisely, and, you know, just keeping that relationship with your friends would
Hmm.
be, some people might struggle with it, like, with that, and, dealing with school, personal problems, family stuff, that kind of thing.
For sure.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm like thankful for this task right now because it's given us an excuse to all hang out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, right. Let me find it. Yeah, okay. So we're now on topic of uh, just what we can do to combat these negative feelings, and solutions like exercise or picking up a hobby, learning new skills, things like that.
Hmm.
And exercise has a good effect because it can keep you occupied, and it has a lot of long-term benefits. Like, you can sort out your like better weight management. Like, if you feel like you need to gain weight or to lose weight, you can improve yourself upon that.
Hmm.
And like, even like health, um, you can actually like reduce the risk of many like diseases and heart problems. So, and also benefits will also be like it can reduce your anxiety a lot and improve sleep patterns as well.
Hmm.
So yeah,
I think,
I think as long as I think even like see things like walking to the shops, that can really put a smile on your face. Even though you're going to the shops, you're getting out, you're having a walk. It's exercise.
yeah, it's really the bare
yeah,
minimum we can do right now, and I think we should take it.
Yeah, as long
Make
as
it
we're
feel
doing
small.
the most amount we can do with the limited, whatever we've got. As long as we're doing the most we can, that's fine. You should be proud of yourself for just going for a walk. It might seem silly, but if you go for a walk, not only you're getting out of the house, but you're getting some fresh air and you're getting exercise. So that's a reason to be quite happy with yourself. And even if that's the only exercise you do in a day, you've still done it. You know, you should be proud of yourself that you've done it.
Yeah, especially since you kind of have to stay indoors,
Exactly.
for yours and other safety.
I mean,
Mhm.
like the main
So,
way
like,
I was getting exercise is by doing Just Dance for throughout the first lockdown. And I
that's quite
honestly,
smart, you know.
yeah, it was really fun. I think we need to find a way to have fun with exercise in the house as well. And you know what? I recommend it. It's on the Switch. I
You know,
got my
VR head, you
sister.
know, VR headsets.
Oh,
Imagine
listen.
VR boxing. That would get you right in shape.
Honestly, like I think we have a lot of creativity to think outside the box for these sort of things right now. I
And
mean,
the
We've got
thing with
we've got the time.
yeah.
Yeah, and the thing with exercise, it doesn't have to be extensive. It doesn't
No.
have to be like all these crazy things that really skillful people can do because they've been practicing it for years. It can just be something as simple as doing maybe 5-10 minutes of stretching every day, maybe a bit of meditation, maybe going out for a 5-10 minute walk around your house. And
Yeah.
you have to emphasize how good it is for you because it releases chemicals like endorphins, dopamine, and stuff like that. The chemicals that make you happy, make you more cheerful, and release that anxiety and stress that is weighing on your mind and your body.
I think another
Yeah.
thing as well. I mean, we're sitting down for the most part of our days right now, and I think posture as well is really important to think about because I mean, we're going to be sitting
Oh, I've
hunched.
struggled. I've
For,
definitely struggled with posture.
yeah, I mean, we can lie in bed all day, we can sit in our chairs,
I've
like we're not really
honest. I
moving.
think posture is a huge thing.
But yeah, and I think once you learn to fix your posture, it makes you more confident too. I mean, we don't really want to be coming out of lockdown looking like the
Yeah,
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
without a
We want like
doubt.
Uh, okay, so on eating healthy, like a healthy diet can reduce the risk of many health conditions like heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and obesity, and can also affect their mental health, with studies pointing towards certain diets that can reduce the risk of developing depression and anxiety.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. I mean, like I feel like a lot of people during lockdown have been able to take new interests in cooking and spending more time deciding what they eat, which is I think can only be a good thing because I
It's
mean,
good for our development as a human being.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think learning
I
to
think
cook for yourself is like a life skill everyone should know how to do.
learning to cook is something that I believe everyone should learn how to do, and it's not difficult at all. I started cooking in 2020, 2019, late 2019, and I'm very glad that I did because I've always wanted to cook, and I thought that's why I'm, in my further education at college, I'm doing cooking because I personally believe, and well, not believe, I know that when I live alone one day, or with a partner, or with a roommate, or whatever, I would much rather cook my own food, cook a healthy meal, cook a meal that I'm proud of, rather than ordering takeaway every night. Because I don't think I'd be very pleased with that. Obviously, like, ordering takeaway, once every while is okay. But if I'm ordering takeaway every day, it's not only it's pretty expensive, but you can just cook. Just
Mm.
cook.
And you can like meal prep as well. You can
Yeah,
prep for the week. It's not something you have to do every single day. Like if you
true.
make leftovers or whatever, then you're sorted for the week.
Yeah,
Really.
that's exactly what my dad does because of the the coronavirus. He has to kind of plan out food, so he plans out in advance. he will cook food, put it in the freezer, and keep it there for a few weeks, and he's got plenty of food for like a month.
Yeah,
It's quite sufficient.
I mean, not only that, but cooking helps provide routine to people. I mean, eating at like a
Yeah.
set time of day, having the like to prepare and stuff for dinner.
Hmm.
I think, and but like breakfast as well. Like breakfast is such a forgotten thing. I feel like right now, because
I don't. Well, that's the thing. I don't really eat breakfast, and it's. I think I've told all of you this, like, in person, and I told a lot of people this. Like, if I eat food before like 9, I just don't feel well, so I have to wait, which is unfortunate. But you know what? It is what it is.
I mean, yeah. But,
And
like,
I think the also thing as well. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say breakfast is one of the most like missed meals through the day. Like people just skip breakfast and wait for lunch and dinner time, but from what I've read and what I feel personally, it's one of the most important because yes, you've replenished your energy from like sleep and that, but you need to have something in your system just to I can't say the word, fuel yourself for the rest of the day until lunch comes. Now, if you're in a situation like Gabriel where it makes you feel physically sick, then yeah, it's probably not a good idea to eat breakfast in the morning. But I think for majority of the people out there, you should try to, even if it's just maybe a banana, an apple, a little bit of cereal, it's going to help you.
because like I
Yeah.
remember the worst feeling in the world was when we were going to school, and like if you hadn't eaten in the morning, and then like after a period or two, your tummy would start making the noises, and that's just not good.
Oh yeah. I remember that. On a daily basis, that happened to me.
You did like the weird
Well,
thing
the
where you
thing
hold
is,
your
right,
tummy.
I can have liquids. Like, I can drink coffee or tea in the morning. I just can't eat. Like, I remember, I remember, I don't know why I did it. I remember when I was still living really close to school, I'd wake up at like 6:30 and shower and get ready to school, and then I'd just sit on my bed and watch YouTube for like an hour and like eat food, and I just thought, I don't like doing this. So by the time I moved out, which was late last year, I was sleeping until like 8:35 and then getting up to school and going, and that was just my routine for like a month, 2 months, for like the very start of S6. And I was like, do you know what, I like this better, I get more sleep. But
Yeah.
if you're not like me and you don't feel unwell after you eat in the morning, then I do strongly recommend that you do eat something, or you drink something at least in the morning, so that way you're ready, or at least like during like a morning break, get a bit of scran.
Yeah, you want to like I think if you can't eat like big meals, if you don't have enough time, or if you can't stomach it, I think bringing like small snacks with you.
So, just as important as exercise, mindfulness is an important activity that many people don't think about doing but really should consider. In our everyday lives, we're always busy with so much stuff that we don't take time to stop, think about what we're doing, and take in our surroundings. We're always busy trying to go to the next place, do the next thing. It's always thinking ahead in the future rather than taking time in the present to just appreciate what we have and what's around us. And you may see this a lot if you go outside, or like before lockdown, or even now, that people are always rushing off doing things and not taking time to maybe enjoy the nature or enjoy the moment. And this is what mindfulness is all about. It's taking that break to
Yeah.
really just take the time to breathe and just kind of stop your mind in a sense, stop all this getting fast to the next place and slowing down. It's kind of honing in all your senses, the sense of smell, touch, sight. And there's a lot of great benefits to it. As well as improving your mental health, it improves your physical health.
100%.
Some ways of like being mindful and using mindfulness to make yourself better is kind of like using meditation. Focusing on your breathing is a great way. Maybe
Yoga.
even if you're just outside walking about, taking the time to kind of just let the wind like touch your face and focusing on what those feelings are, stuff like that. Do any of you guys do any mindfulness things in your time?
I
Yeah.
don't, but my mum is a yoga teacher, so she constantly encourages me to do some stuff like that. But I refuse because I've seen the way my mum does yoga, and I'm convinced that she'd kill me. But anyway, no, I do some breathing sometimes, and I think when I'm out walking, I usually I'm always listening to music, because that just that calms me down. Even though I listen to very heavy music, but that's beside the point. Calms me down, and it kind of relaxes me in a way. I think maybe sometimes I should maybe stop, take my earphones out, and just enjoy the wind. Maybe sometimes, but like sometimes I'll just stand at my window with the window open and just kind of just look.
Yeah.
Just look outside, think.
I think
Even just
being like
listening to music can be a way of mindfulness because you're focusing on the lyrics and the sound. It doesn't just have to be what you're doing outside, but you're taking that time in the moment to just really focus and touching with your senses.
Yeah.
So there's basic things just like that. It doesn't need to be anything eccentric and out there.
I think music brings a lot of comfort
Definitely.
to people. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I also
Oh
think
yeah.
doing creative things helps with mindfulness. Like, I found it really helpful during the first lockdown. I started drawing again. I started knitting randomly. And you know what?
hmm
Just doing that and doing something repetitively was really like nice to just get a break.
I think my mum started knitting in this lockdown, like start of January. I was like, oh, fair enough. Go
Yeah.
on.
I mean, it's good because like you're doing the same thing over and over, and I think it's good to have something to zone out to.
Wasn't it during the first lockdown that like me, you, Claire, and stuff started playing Minecraft a lot?
Yeah.
That was quite peaceful in a way because it's Minecraft. You can just go in and play a game and start building a lot of stuff. That was I need to get back into that.
Absolutely, because like I mean, one we were all having fun, we were relaxing, we were playing video games, and we were staying in contact. Like we were being social and we were
Yeah,
communicating, and
exactly.
honestly, it was such a good. I think it really helped last lockdown.
Simple as just doing a little bit of meditation, a bit of breathing, a bit of just honing in on your senses of touch and sight and just listening, just taking the time to be in the moment. That's what mindfulness is about, and
Yeah,
it's proven to really help your mental and physical well-being. I suggest it to everyone to try it sometime.
yeah,
Yeah,
100%. I will try. I will try.
yeah, I agree.
I mean, technically, I'm already doing because I listen to a lot of music, but I will try and like do more breathing and definitely. I mean, you'll have to try and do a lot of convincing to get me to take my earphones out when I'm walking.
So, on the next topic of skills, mainly life skills, and how these can improve upon your life now and in the near future. One of them is focus and self-control. So
Definitely.
this would like assist you in achieving your goals, especially in a world filled with distractions and access to like all kinds, like every kind of bit of information, like in a click of a button, like easily, like really accessible information about anything.
Yeah.
And a skill is mainly like centered towards things like paying attention to people when they speak, exercising like self-control, like having the ability to like restrain yourself over impulses, just like acting on emotions or desires
Yeah.
at an appropriate time, and also like remembering rules and thinking flexibility. So like the ability to like quickly change the way you think, so you can find an alternative way to solve problems, things
Mhm.
like that.
I think when you said when like listening to people when they're talking to you, I noticed that I've always had a problem with like when I'm when I'm listening to people, I'll sometimes butt in a bit of information or just a comment. I need to try and I've been working on it for years. I need to try and restrict that. And technically, I'm doing it right now, so I apologize. But I just think if you're someone like me who struggles with that, listen to what Rayanne's saying very, very carefully.
Yeah.
Nice. Second one was communicating, and this skill is more just like understanding. Is more than just understanding someone when they like speak. It's like determining what someone may want to speak about and realizing how it can be understood by others. And it's been found like teachers and employers feel like it's lacking nowadays, and even in this climate, everyone's at home. Point was critical thinking. So the skill helps people analyze and evaluate like information to just guide them, like their thoughts, beliefs, decisions, and actions on others. And like we need the critical thinking to make sense of things in the world, and to solve problems that we may encounter.
I think critical thinking is quite important, especially when it comes to like later life. I mean, obviously, I don't know, but I assume that when you're an adult, you do a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
So I think, and especially when you're put in quite difficult situations that you need to face and that you need to conquer. I think like being able to successfully act out critical thinking, think of a solution is very, very important.
Of course.
I agree with that.
Critical thinking is a very useful skill, not only for life but in employment as well. It allows you to kind of hone in mentally and really realise like what is the situation, how can we resolve it, and how can we get it done. And it's a skill that's very useful for life in general, for you mentally, physically, working and all sorts of things. So it's a good one that if you don't feel the most confident in, to get practiced with and to learn how do you control that and how can you make it better.
It's not a necessarily difficult skill to learn either. It's basically just so let's say you've got a project and you've got to figure out everything. You just sit down either with some paper or an iPad or whatever, and you type out a question. What have we got to do? Write it down. Who has to do what? Write it down. It's not it's not a very difficult skill to learn at all. And I think have schools taught us that in subjects?
Yeah, I think
like
like
RE and stuff.
English and stuff. Yeah.
English as well. Yeah. So
I think all subjects have an element of critical thinking to it, so you're always using it.
100%.
Honestly,
But
I
I
think
think
that's
maybe
a
more.
really good way, because I mean, I know like if I get stressed or whatever, I'll like write down all the things I have to do, and then I'll analyze like all the steps I need to do to finish it to help make the workload look smaller. Like I think that does help with motivation to do things too, because it helps change the way you think about things.
I'm like the complete opposite. If I need to like figure some stuff out, I'll just talk to myself, and I'll blab it all out, and I'll go, right, what have I got to do? It's like when I've got a lot of work to do, I'll say to myself, right, I've got English work, and I've got this, I've got maths, I've got this, I've got leadership work, I've got this, and then I'll like figure it out and kind of organize like a timetable for myself. Like, okay, I'll do maths this day, do a little bit of English, or at least if I do my maths, then that's fine. I can move on to the other stuff tomorrow. So I'm the complete opposite. But I'll try and do more critical thinking when it comes to this stuff. But I just like talking to myself.
Well, after everything that you guys have heard today, from everything that we've talked to why mental health's important, what do these negative feelings mean, and how can we combat it? This is us now rounding it up and finishing it off for you. Mental health is something everybody has and everyone's affected by. We have our stresses and it negatively impacts us. And if we don't find a way to combat it, then it can get worse. But there's many things you can do, just simple everyday things from exercise, mindfulness, talking to people and asking for help. It's all about working on yourself and realizing those problems. And if you need outside help, there's people out there that are able to help you, such as Samaritans, friends, family, etc. You're not alone in this journey. And hopefully today we have helped you in realizing all the important things about mental health and why you should take care of yourself. So now this is sadly a goodbye from your favourite podcast people here